So you understand maybe what's going on. Alaba International Market, Trade Fair Markets, they are very big markets, and Igbos, if you hear the names that I read out as those who are the leaders in that market, all of them, having Igbo names, you know that they are Igbos. So
Yeah.
that's why this thing did generate a buzz when it broke that those markets have been sealed on Twitter. There were conversations, is this is there an ethnic undertone to what's happening in those markets? This will always come up, especially with what we saw happen in Lagos in February 2023 during the
Yeah.
elections. I don't like, these conversations, but yeah, it has popped up again. What do you think about the closure of
Yeah, I know
those
your
markets?
stance on these things.
Okay.
And I will always disagree with you.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, it definitely has ethnic coloration. It does, It looks like the Igbos crept up on Lagosians and even the Northerners, right? And all of a sudden, all the choice real estate, and business premises belong to the Igbos. All of a sudden, it looks like it happened all of a sudden, and they started wondering, how did we let them come this far, right? Now, but this was emphasized during the last elections, right? The Igbos really made their presence felt in Lagos, right? And so the political class in Lagos decided, hey, we have to clip their wings. We have to stop this. Otherwise, we're going to have this repeat every election cycle, right? So what you're seeing right now, it's been going on for a very long time. These are not the first markets that were shut. Yaba was shut down a couple of years ago. Many other ones have been shut down, right? But in recent times, I think it was Balogun. You saw a video of traders rejoicing that I think it was Balogun that was reopened, and somebody was shooting in the air, which the Nigerian police wants to punish that person, right? But it was during the jubilation of, I think it was Balogun Market being reopened, right? Then the other day was Alaba. A section of Alaba Market was demolished, right? And these shops belong to the Igbos, and today it is a trade fair, right? Trade fair. So there's no way you will convince me that it doesn't have an ethnic coloration. They're just trying to clip the wings of the Igbos. Now, remember, after the elections, they said they were going to transform Lagos of the official language in Lagos to Yoruba. That is to say that every document used in Lagos State will now, read in Yoruba, write in Yoruba, and all of that. All of this is to check the prosperity and the fast evolving nature of the Igbos in Lagos, right? So I am convinced that this is to kick the Igbos out. They want to reclaim, if not everything, most of what the Igbos have in Lagos right now, and find a way to actually, curb their influence in Lagos State.
Well, you had, the chairman of Loma, speak to it, saying that sanitation concerns,
Yes.
that the traders there have not heed the several warnings that they sent to those markets. Sanitation is a big issue.
It is a big issue.
Yes.
But it's absolute nonsense. It's outright nonsense. Why I'm saying that is this: if Enugu is not clean, who will be held responsible? The citizens or Eswama? It's Eswama's job to make sure that sanitation rates are paid, and if they are paid, that the job is done. So if New Haven is dirty, you won't blame the masses. You will blame the government and you will blame Eswama. So you don't come and you don't throw away the baby and the bathwater because, they have sanitation problems. What you need to do is enforce sanitation laws. You have the police, you have civil defense, you have their own version of, I don't know what you call it, their own version of Eswama. You have that in Lagos State, right? So you enforce traffic. You have these traffic guys that are revered in Lagos State enforcing traffic rules. Okay, so if you have every system of government enforcing different rules, why is this different? Why is the solution to shut down the market? Lagos State has been very good. I remember when they had Kai. You cross the road, they arrest you. If you don't use the overhead bridge, they will arrest you, right? Now, LASMA is there enforcing traffic rules. If you break certain rules, they will tow your car or clamp it, right? So Lagos has different systems to enforce different laws. So why is it now all of a sudden the market being shut down because they did not, keep to sanitary rules? That's really a flimsy excuse. I know they want to shut down the market, just like they did Ayaba a couple of years ago, just like they did Balogun a few months ago, just like they did a section of Alaba a few months ago. They're shutting this down, and probably if enough noise is not made around this, they actually will protract it and find a way to actually reallocate this lands to how do you call it, to Lagosians or Yoruba people, just to force the Igbos out. Now the question is, many years ago when trade fair project was started, nobody wanted to buy into it. The Yorubas who were the owners of the land didn't want to buy into it. They didn't see a future in it. But the Igbo man, being very good at business, saw a future with trade fair, went there, bought properties and bought shops. Today it's a multi-billion dollar, I wouldn't even say multi-billion naira, it's a multi-billion dollar market. And all of a sudden you want to shut it down? That's not right. We live in a country that's governed by the law, and people must respect the law. I don't care who you are. Governor Sanwo-Olu, if he allows this, he's breaking the law, and he's being, very ethnical, and this cannot happen in Nigeria. You see, this is actually the kinds of things that is fueling the agitation for Biafra. I have never believed that Biafra is a solution. But these are the kinds of decisions, these are the kinds of oppression that actually, is or are forcing the Igbos actually to agitate for, a separate state.
Okay. Some persons, I saw some tweets where some Igbos said that this is just a huge distraction to take away Nigerians from the economic realities and then cause something else, like some sort of communal or tribal clashes. Do you also think that's
no? I don't agree. I don't agree. This is mainly targeted at the Igbos. Lagos State House of Assembly has decided that we are going to do something about the influence of the Igbos in Lagos State. They clearly said that during the elections. They said that during the campaigns. They said it after the campaigns, that they're going to find ways to ensure that they curb the influence of the Igbos in Lagos State. They believe the Igbos have an overt influence in Lagos State, and they really want to make sure.
Who said, sorry?
Cebuan.
You said Lagos State.
Yes, the House of
Assembly.
A leader of the remember, I pointed out that the leader of the House of Assembly said that they're going to make sure that they change the official language of Lagos State to Yoruba, and that time people started making a lot of noise about it, and the argument was that was said, and a couple of other things, said to ensure that the influence of the Igbos in Lagos State is curbed. So it's a clear thing in the air when they started making those insinuations that really they are threatened by the Igbos. And we also clearly all the threat that they felt from the Igbos in Lagos State. They said what was his name, the opposition guy who was running against Sanwo-Olu. They said his mother is Igbo, and so Vivo, that the Igbos are trying to take over Lagos and all of that, and so we're not going to let. If you were on Twitter, you see all this news there, So we saw talks of, hey, the Igbos are trying to take over Lagos, and they're calling Lagos a no man's land. All Igbos have to leave and all of that. So basically, a lot of Yoruba people were of the opinion that really Igbos have too much influence in Lagos, and we really have to get them out of there. And so these are parts of that move to ensure that influence is actually
we know that the Speaker of the Lagos House was in that controversy surrounding his speech on property laws in Lagos, that it's going to make sure that he protects indigenes of the state.
Yes.
And but it's not just Igbos who are also in Lagos. There are people from all tribes. It's said to be no man's land. Why, does it seem like the Igbos always want to play victim? Because that's also part of the conversation that is happening now on Twitter and in other public spaces, that the Igbos just want to play victim. Look at Trade Fair Market, look at Alaba International Markets. There are also other ethnicities who have trades that they're applying there in those markets. Don't you think that the Igbos are beginning to play too much of a victim?
You see why I'm laughing? You're the ideal kind of journalist. Somebody like you, government officials would love you so much because you always play the middle ground. You're not very extreme. Now the point is this: no matter how politically correct you want to be, the facts remain the facts. It's no doubt the Igbos are oppressed in Nigeria. No doubt. Everybody knows that. Now, if you're talking about Lagos being a state that, accommodates people from all different tribes, right? The Igbos are, apart from the indigenes of Lagos State, the next biggest population of people of different tribes from Nigeria that live in Lagos State are the Igbos, right? Now, majority of the properties in Lagos State are owned by the Igbos. It's not just in Lagos State, it's the same thing in Abuja, right? So, and I've said this a number of times on this radio show, that the progressiveness of the Igbo man brings him a lot of jealousy from his counterparts. Because the Yoruba person would say, okay, I'm Yoruba, I was born in Lagos State, I am from Lagos State, and I'm not doing as well. But look at all these Igbo people, making all this money, building all these houses. It brings that progressiveness of the Igbo man, brings him a lot of jealousy, right? Yes, the Igbos are not the only people in Lagos, but the Igbos control the economy of Lagos State. So it's clear why people of Yoruba land would actually be jealous of them. But it's because they are not progressive thinking. If they're progressive thinkers, it's a good thing for us. It doesn't matter who scores the goal. Important thing is that the goal is scored, right? If an Igbo man invests in Lagos State, he employs Lagosians. It's a win-win situation for Lagos, right? So, yes, the Igbos may not be the only people living in Lagos, but how many other tribes control these markets that are multi-billion-dollar markets? Alaba market is the biggest business incubation in the world.
Okay.
The biggest business incubation in the world, to the point where it's being studied in Harvard University. How many other tribes in Nigeria control these kinds of investments and money? Right? Aspamda and Trade Fair are also multi-billion-dollar, markets controlled by the Igbos. You saw the BOT, the guy from the board of trustee.
Yes.
He's Igbo. The other guy is Igbo. All of them are Igbos. So how come? If they're all Igbos, that tells you that majority of the people that own stalls in this markets are Igbos. And so the Yorubas feel left out.
When you say the Yorubas, don't you think you're overgeneralizing?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Because we also know that Igbos also play a part in the government in Lagos. We've had Igbo commissioners.
Good for them.
We've had, Igbos head boards and parastatals in Lagos. Loma, for instance, with the way you've talked about the population of Igbo people who are in Lagos, definitely they would have a lot of employees in Loma who are Igbos. And this is Loma coming to say that you've breached a sanitation guidelines that we've given.
And I'm asking you, Ajegunle is one of the dirtiest places in Lagos. Why haven't they shut down Ajegunle?
If they can't shut down a residential area.
Morocco is a filthy place, right? Morocco in Lagos is a filthy place. People live on water, dirty lagoon. They poop in the water, they urinate in the water, they do everything on that water. Lagos State has tried to shut it down many times and they've resisted. Why hasn't Lagos State, really insisted on shutting it down? Because you shut it down, you cause crisis. Why are you going to take all those people that over 100,000 people that lives in that community? Where are you going to take them to? And when it comes to the Igbos, you don't care about the crisis that you're going to cause. Family crisis, economic crisis. You're not thinking about the people employed in that establishment. When you shut it down, these people will be out of work. They'll be out of salaries. They can't feed their families. The owners of the stores can't feed their families, can't pay school fees. The people they employ can't feed their families, can't pay school fees, can't run their homes. You're not thinking about the chain effect of shutting down the market. Now, if the market is dirty, ensure that you use the mechanism of government to ensure that sanitation rules are kept to. You don't shut down the market. You're government. So if you shut down the market, it's because you have an ulterior motive. And I'm convinced that Lagos State is hell-bent on curbing the influence of the Igbos in Lagos. No doubt about that. I may not agree with you, may not agree with me on that, but it doesn't change the fact that that is what is happening. And you're going to see more of this happening. But I am saying that every Igbo person who's decided to invest in Lagos, every Igbo person who's decided to invest in the north is holding the rest of the Igbo land hostage. Because a lot of times, we're afraid every time we hear these kinds of things, or every time there is an unrest, every time, we hear an Hausa person kill somebody in Enugu here, and people want to retaliate or people want to take certain actions. Look at what is happening at the Owerri Road. Right? I said it the other time. The Igbos who live at Owerri Road are oppressed, right? I know I'm deviating a little bit from Lagos State. We're talking about Lagos State, right? But you see, certain actions may want to be taken. Government may want to shut down, the influence of Hausa people around that axis. What you're thinking, if we do that, what's going to happen to our brothers and sisters who live in the west or in the north? That way you don't take certain actions, right? So it is high time Igbo people decided to return back to the southeast. And I'm saying that the government of the southeast have a role to play in this. Okay. Right? It's a bad thing that is happening, but it's also good that this is happening to remind the Igbos that you are living in another man's land. And, east to the west, no place like home. It is time for the Igbos to return home. right? And so the government of the Southeast has a number of roles to play to make sure that this happens. One, provide adequate security in the Southeast, so that a lot of Igbos who are thinking about coming, who are tired of this oppression, can comfortably return home. But if they think about coming home, a lot of times they're thinking about the kidnaps, they're thinking about the insecurity, and they're like, okay, let me just stay here, right? And they end up staying. But the governments of the Southeast have to come together, beyond partisanship, and decide to, implement a strong security network in the Southeast, so that Southeast can be, safe for investment. When that is done, they need to come. Last time I was here, I talked about the southeastern states coming together to build a rail line that will cut through every southeastern state all the way to Onne, so that when we create industries, we will have outlets, for our goods by way of export, right? But that port at Onne has to be opened. The southeastern governors have to come together and push this agenda as a bloc. Okay, force the federal government to open up that port and give it a national status where it has a two-way functionality by way of export and import. If we can open up that port, ensure that goods are able to go out by way of export and then come in by way of importation, I guarantee many Igbos will see need to return to the Southeast, because really it will be better for us. Okay, and then when they consider that, okay, now the port is working, we can import and we can export, and then there's a rail line that can ensure that every goods and services, goods of course, can be moved through this rail line to the seaport. And when we import, there's a rail line that can help us distribute it to the region and beyond. There will be motivation to return home.
Some sort of escapism, bringing or trying to just bring the Igbos back down here. Is there no other means of mending the strained relationship? We know that these elections really did strain the relationship between the Igbos and the Yorubas in Lagos, and has continued to spiral. Like I said, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, when he was re-elected for the third term, did say that Lagos is Yoruba land and they will be translating all the laws into Yoruba and all of that, which people believed was, targeted at what happened and how the Igbos played a major role in what played out in the presidential elections in Lagos. Do you think that there is no other means of mending this relationship apart from this sort of escapist motive that you might just be?
You just coined that phrase, and I don't agree with you.
Okay.
Now, Yagaze, what do you do when the people hate you, and you've done everything to bring them into your friend circle, and they still hate you? And you discover that it won't be the only reason, Yes, I agree the Igbo man loves money, and a lot of Igbo people, involve themselves in, bad business activities. That has contributed to the hate. But I can guarantee you that the Igbos who are involved in criminal activities are not up to 5% of the Igbos, right? And so you can't hate a whole tribe because a number of them do bad businesses or do sharp practices in business, Now, the point is, the reason the Igbos are hated wherever they go is because of that nature, that characteristics of the Jews. They prosper wherever they go. I saw a video yesterday, a young man from East Africa was saying, why do the Nigerians prosper? Why do they prosper in everything they do? In the movies, it's Nigerians. In academics, it's Nigerians. In music, it's Nigerians. Why? Don't ask them, ask God. Ask God. It's just natural for them to prosper. Wherever the Igbos go, listen, I told you a couple of years ago, because of the work I did, I traveled the West African region, many times, multiple times in a year. And I see that the Igbos are cut across. You see the Igbos spread out from Cotonou all the way to Senegal. And in all the major markets in these countries, the Igbos are in control. And they're also hated by the people of these countries. And you ask yourself, why? They're just too progressive. Because what happens is that you go to a place like Ghana, an Igbo man comes and sets up a table, just a small table, or Burkina Faso, or wherever in West Africa. You see them start very, very meager, very small. He sets up a table and puts 2 hydraulic bottles, 1 brake pad, one this, one that, and you're laughing at look at this fool. What is he doing? Give him 1 year. 1 year. He owns a big shop. He turns that table into a big spare part shop. Give him 5 years. He's the biggest spare part dealer in that region. And the people just hate him. But this guy I follow Bialeba was here. He just came the other day. How come he's this prosperous? And they assume that he's doing drugs. No, not every prosperous Igbo person does drugs. And this is why people simply hate them. This is why they're hated in Lagos. This is why they're hated in the north. All the major businesses in the north are controlled by the Igbos. All the major real estate in the north, in Abuja, are owned by the Igbos. Not all of them are criminals.
These are markets.
Markets and businesses. Real estate. Go and ask. In Abuja, all the choice real estate in Abuja, majority of the choice real estate in Abuja are owned by the Igbos. Now, why do you think that the residents won't feel jealous? It's that jealousy that leads them to oppress the Igbos, nothing else.
You said something. You said you've traveled West Africa, and it's a similar reaction in most of those West African countries. I don't know. There is an adage that says if everybody, reacts in the same way, you might just
it's
be
not
the
always
problem.
the case.
Do you think there might be something attitudinal with the ways that Igbo do business that maybe does not engage a lot of emotional intelligence to the owners of the lands where they come in to do business, that is beginning to generate this same reaction across the places that you have just mentioned that needs to change?
No.
Maybe, self-assessment.
Okay, I have pointed out that I understand that a lot of Igbos involve themselves in sharp practices in business. That contributes to the hate. But that's a little minority of the Igbo race. The Igbos are generally very progressive and aggressive in their pursuits for wealth, right? And it breeds jealousy. It's just like the Jews. The Jews were hated in all of Europe. It's the same thing. That progressiveness is why Hitler rounded up almost 6 million of them and killed them, right? Now, I lived in Portugal as well. There's a park actually dedicated to Jews who were killed by the Portuguese. Salazar, killed a lot of Jews in Portugal. And all over Europe. It's the same thing in America, right? The Jews, wherever they go, they prosper. And so other people just can't understand how this group of people can prosper so much and we're not prospering. It simply breeds hate. It's the same thing with the Igbos. An Igbo man starts small today, tomorrow he owns the biggest supermarket. It's the same thing. And so it's normal for the unprogressive residents of these regions where they do business to hate them. It's not because there's something that they're not doing right.
The unprogressive residents in those regions might also be a fraction of those regions. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, it could be a fraction and could also be a majority. They can be a fraction, for crying out loud. Because if you look at it, people in the House of Assembly are hating on the Igbos. People in the different Yoruba markets are hating on the Igbos. Residents. Now, imagine I'm a Yoruba person and I live in Lagos, right? And I come to rent a house and a Yoruba landlord rather rent the house to an Igbo person over me. He chooses an Igbo person over me because when he says the Igbo person leaves my house better than he met it, and he doesn't owe me rent. Once is on the due date, he pays me, but I have to chase Yoruba out. Now it feels like even the Yorubas who own properties rather rent their properties to the Igbos. Now, how do you think the Yoruba people who are residents or natives or indigenous to that place, how do you think they'll feel? They will hate you naturally. And that's the same reason the South Africans are very xenophobic. The South Africans feel like the foreigners who come and take all the jobs. Now, if you're qualified for the job, why wouldn't you get the job? Right? If you're qualified and you have skills, why wouldn't you get the job? Don't blame another person for getting a job that you couldn't get because you didn't have the skills. It's unprogressive to think like that. Now, listen, I will be the first to tell you that we Igbos, we have our faults, right? But when it's this general, you go to Aspamda. Aspamda is a market. They don't deal drugs there. They don't do 419 there. It's a market where they sell stuff. I don't know if you've gone to Aspamda or Trade Fair. This is a huge market where Igbos control billions of naira. Let me not say billions of dollars. I'm sure it would be up to billions of dollars. Control billions of naira. They come to work every day. They go out and import stuff and come and say, look at the Igbo man is very creative when it comes to his business. Right? I brought in something from Germany one time and I brought it into a market and two people started fighting over my goods because that was the only one. It came from Germany. That particular commodity was not available in the country. What did they want to do? They wanted to control it. This is what the Igbos do. So if I control this commodity, it's a good commodity and I'm the only one that has it, owns it, then I can control the price. This is what the Igbos are doing different. Now, instead of these other people learning how the Igbos do it and what they do, you hate on them. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that the Igbos are simply hated majorly because of their progressiveness. But it is time for the Igbo governors to cash into this. I'm saying we can cash into this.
So do you think that the Igbo governors would be ready, or the capacity could be there, but these structures, infrastructure and policies that you have mentioned that will aid the Igbo traders do business better here, is it some sort of economic transfer to the east and let everything run here? And is it something that these Igbo governors can achieve? It
is something, let me start with the second. It's something the Igbo governors can do, but they may not want to do it. Now, the reason, look at somebody like Tioji, right? The new governor of Abia State.
No,
Oti. Sorry, Alex Oti. I love the man. I don't even know him. But the man is exceptional, right? I think the Speaker of the House, I heard him say it, but the Speaker reminded him that he hasn't taken his salary the last 4 months as governor. And he said, I haven't taken it and I will not take it the next 4 years. Because all those people who haven't been paid their salaries, they're human beings as well. Now, look at somebody like that. He has no skeleton in his cupboard. So he has no Northerner or Yoruba president to please. What he cares about are his people. And so he will do whatever it takes to make sure that his people live a good life, right? Now, this agenda to open up on airport will hurt Lagos seaport. And so the federal government will not want to support it. Lagos state government, Tinubu being from of course, former Lagos.
Their policies, trying to push policies that would help their regions or their states, so that the people who are indigenous and who are residents of those states and regions begin to benefit. But then at the end, we also have a lot of collaboration to do, which is the reason why, as much as we want to streamline things to our ethnicity, there should also be some bridge building happening, so that we don't just cut ties and live as one nation without anything uniting us.
Trust me, Agaze, if we were one big family in Nigeria, we would be better off. If we were a nation where the Hausa loved the Igbo loved the Yoruba, and the Yoruba loved the thief, and the thief loved the Efik, and the Efik loved the Bibio, it's better, because they always say, my mom would always say, I'll say it like she used to say it in Igbo. But it's hard to break a broom, a bundle of broom, or however you say it. It's hard, but when you separate it, it breaks easily. That is to say that together we are a stronger Nigerian family. But it's come to a place where the Hausa has made it clear that the Igbos are our enemies. And the Yorubas have said that our problem are the Igbos. And so we don't want them here. Now, when you're not wanted, and it's coming to the point where you're losing property, you're losing investments, you're losing lives, come on, you have to go somewhere. It's ludicrous to do the same thing over and over and hope to achieve a different result. It's not working. One Nigeria is a beautiful idea, but it's just not working. It hasn't worked the last 60 years. So what we need to do is make them feel the importance of the Igbo. When they feel the importance of the Igbo, then things might begin to reset. And this is what I'm trying to say. Every December, the importance of the Igbo man is felt in Nigeria, but the Igbo man himself has not perceived that importance. Every December, Nigeria records the lowest GDP at any given time in any given year in this country, because the Igbos simply went home. And this is why I said during the elections that the Igbos might have the largest population of people in this country, and they have just not perceived it. Because what happens is, Sabongeri is an Igbo market in Kano, right? But in December, it goes empty. Lagos, as busy as it is, becomes an easy place to commute in December because the Igbos went home. I have said that if you go to Fadeyi and the Onikban, you see boys playing monkey post on the service lanes that you couldn't do on a regular, business working day in Lagos. But in December, boys play monkey post in Fadeyi and Onikban and different other roads in Lagos because the Igbos went home. So what I'm trying to say is this: if the Igbos understand their importance in Nigeria, they will play their cards right. And so what we need to do is to create an enabling business environment in the South so that the Igbos can return. Now, I guarantee you that when that happens, they'll still come to buy from us. People come from all over Nigeria to buy spare parts from Nnewi. People come from as far as Senegal, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, to buy spare parts at Nnewi. Nnewi in the southeast. What does that tell you? That if we can build ultra-modern markets in the southeast, set up major industrial parks in the southeast where commodities will be, produced, manufactured, and moved into this market and exported to the rest of the world. Now, the rest of Nigeria will actually feel the impact of the Igbos. If the Igbos left Lagos today, that importance that is attached to Lagos, you'll actually see that it's actually like a feather. You can see that it's nowhere. Because what happens is that if we have an alternative, 80% of the vessels coming through the Gulf of Guinea are coming to Lagos. Now, 85%, okay, let me say 75% of those containers belong to the Igbos, right? And Lagos generates over 100 million naira or dollars, I can't remember the statistics now, monthly through the seaports. Who is paying that money? The Igbos. And yet you want to oppress them. You do not understand the importance of their taxes in Lagos. You do not understand the importance of the monies they pay to the seaport. You don't even understand the importance of their liquidity for the different banks in Lagos that you lose every December. Every December, Lagos and every region in Nigeria sits still for 2-3 weeks waiting for the Igbos to return. That in itself is power. The Igbo man needs to realize that. The Southeast governors needs to realize that, and then create an enabling business environment for the Southeast, for the Igbos to return all that influence to the Southeast. When Aspanda goes empty, Trade Fair goes empty, Balogun goes empty, every other market goes empty, the streets go empty, the banks begin to actually suffer a lack of liquidity because the Igbos moved out. Then they will understand the importance of the Igbos for the South, the Igbos of the Southeast. Then they can actually begin to call for a truce. Let's find a way to make this thing work. Let's find a way to make Nigeria work.
All right, we'll go for a news break right now, and when we return, we'll open up the phone lines and find out how many parliamentarians agree or disagree with you on the opinions that you hold concerning what's happening in Lagos. The trade fair markets, labor markets were shut down, and some people are saying it has ethnic undertone to it, what's going on there in Lagos, and that the Igbos might just be the most hurt by these shutdown of these markets. Lagos State government says it's based on grounds of sanitation, breaching the sanitation rules, but then the unions within the markets are protesting and saying that they've been abiding by the rules and should not necessitate this shutdown. Let's go for the news break. When we return, we open up the phone lines. Let me send it to you. You will lead the new. Onye did not send to you.
No, she hasn't.
Did you listen to the video Chairman sent? Okay, maybe after this thing we'll listen to it. I said I should get someone from Lagos. The man I was trying to get from Lagos said he doesn't want to talk. That he will talk to me later.
The politicians will love you so much.
I have to balance it. There is sanction also.
I know.
NBC will just bill us. They will say we are pushing hate speech. That's what they will do. Honestly.
But that's our opinion now. Freedom of speech is not allowed.
They know. They say we know they play our disclaimer again. They said it doesn't matter whether we play disclaimer 100 times, that the opinion of our guests must be doused by our own opinion. I've sent to you.
Okay. That's wrong now. That's wrong.
Good morning and welcome to the news update in 94.5 seconds. My name is Queen Chima. The Commissioner for Culture and Tourism in Enugu State, Dame Ugochi Madweke, has urged gifted youth in Enugu State to embrace arts as a career. A widow, Dorcas Nwako, has petitioned the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ibetokun, over the alleged killing of her son, Chiweze Nwako, by police officers attached to the Police Area Command, Onitsha, Anambra State. The Supreme Court has reserved judgment in the appeal by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Atiku Abubakar, and PDP against the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court, which affirmed the victory of President Bola Tinubu in the presidential election. The Minister for Solid Mineral Development, Dele Alake, has announced the endorsement of the Ministry of Solid Mineral Development to unveil a new draft policy that would drive the operations of the solid minerals sector. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Abdullahi Mustafa to serve as the Director General of the Energy Commission of Nigeria. In sports, Nigeria midfielder Esther Onyenezide, who impressed at last year's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup finals in Costa Rica, as Nigeria reached the quarterfinals, has been drafted to take the place of 2023 FIFA World Cup star Malimatu Ayinde in Nigeria's squad for the 2024 Women Olympic Football Tournament fixture against Ethiopia's senior women national team. On entertainment, a businessman has called out international superstar Davido for failing to keep up on his side of the bargain after reportedly paying him a whopping 280 million naira to influence a project for kids. You're up to the minute in 94.5 seconds. My name is Queen Chima.
From the capital of the southeast to the
Is this Madueke, the commissioner? Is it?
Yes, it's
Allison's wife.
no. The younger brother to our chairman, but he's late.
Okay.
The man is late. The younger brother's wife.
Okay.
That's the commissioner.
0806 367 3748 or 0803 521 3282.
Tourism,
Or you can visit
tourism,
us at
tourism.
number 3 Oba Street, Independence Day.
What can she do to boost tourism in Enugu State? We'll see. Thank you, sir.
Why
Enjoy
do
your
we
show.
talk? We talk because transformation begins with a thought, and talks provokes thoughts, and talks inspire our consciousness. A new consciousness stimulates change in individuals and societies. Nigeria is not a geographical expanse of land spreading from the north to the south. Nigeria is the people that live in it. A nation is transformed only when its people are. So let's keep talking until we get it right. Join us every weekday for the Parliament, 9 a.m., exclusively on Urban Radio 94.5 FM.
The other one is not on.
This one. Because this one doesn't connect.
Yeah, connected during prime time.
Once. That one connects.
Let's go back. Alright, welcome back. 52 minutes gone past 9. Still having a conversation here around the closure of trade fair and the labor markets. Spam the market too. It's a whole lot happening in Lagos with the markets, and a lot of concerns as to why these closures are happening and how they would go to hurt traders in those markets, especially in a time like this when the economy of Nigeria is not looking too strong. These traders have very valid concerns. They don't know how long the closure would last. Some are saying weeks or months, who knows, but the traders themselves want this market reopened so that they can get back to business. But here we have the new DG Exports Chamber of International Trade and Investment, Tony Odukwe, talking about how the Igbo and the Southeast can leverage on this situation and begin to rebuild the Southeast, bring down the trade here so that the Southeast can benefit economically from trade happening here instead of in Lagos or in the West or in the North. So let's get in your thoughts about what he has said this morning. 09128945945 and
08093999945.
I forget that you did here, sorry. Alright, let's get in those calls. Hello?
Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning,
Good
Marlon
morning.
John.
Yeah, how are you today?
We're good. Welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Tony, good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother.
I want to congratulate you on your new office. It's always a pleasure having you on radio, honestly. I wish you come to the studio almost every day. You would make my day. Talking about the Igbos, if we look at the situation of Nigeria, I will tell you that Nigeria and Igbos are the major people who practice what they call one Nigeria. I look around Enugu. I don't know how many houses that own buildings in Enugu. I've asked my friend the other day we were talking. I've not checked how many Yorubas that are having like two-story buildings, three-story buildings, or businesses around here. I don't know. I cannot count any of them. Go to Jos, go to Kano, go to Lagos. Igbos comfortably build houses and establish businesses there. That is their strength of one Nigeria. But what do they get in return? Like you've enumerated. They want to chase them. They want to frustrate them. They want to make life, unbearable to them. What are we talking about? Tomorrow we preach one Nigeria. We preach that Igbos are this. Yeah, in as much as some of Igbos, like you said, like a few percent of them are, could be dubious. But a good number of Igbos are in genuine business. Then why would you want to use government to frustrate them? There's no argument there. Telling me about, like I've been in Lagos severally. If you go to that 21st, like I said, in Igbo, they gave out what you best. Like me and our children, you speak Igbo to anybody, like 70 to 80% of something I'm talking about are Igbos. Don't speak Igbo. You see them answering you. I've been in Lagos like years. And like you said, during December, I don't know if you've been in Lagos during December, you will see how deserted everywhere will be. That shows you clearly that Igbos control the affairs of those areas. Then why would you take this for granted? I heard some time ago, that some of the in Alaba, that they purchased the fast land in Kupi, where they want to do the massive market or something. That is what I want to confirm, if it's true. But if it's not true, they should do something like that and ensure that they bring their business down to the east. Honestly, that's what they should be thinking of. Because they have the money, they have the... And another thing, I want to ask is, our government, like the government of the South, should do something about our Riverine and the Port Harcourt port here. Sometimes, as the inquiry has made, I found out that to bring your goods here to Port Harcourt, it is always costlier than taking it to Lagos. Why do they do it that way? Because they want all these things to be coming through Lagos.
Right.
I don't know why. So, please, the government should do it so that it is possible for them to bring our goods to Port Harcourt.
All right, Marlon John.
We call it international airport. I don't know how many cargoes that are coming here. These are the things that government should help us to do. To ensure that it is.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your thoughts. Good morning. Good morning. What's your name and location?
Good morning, Anthony Karamo. Welcome, go ahead.
I like you so much. Yeah, it's a true Igbo man. I feel the truth. So what I want to say is, whatever did Ochukwuto does all this, that you should take home, but our people are not ready to that advice. Now the kind of structuring this one like one Igbo. Let us do something about Igbo land. They can take him. Now Igbo is talking tough again. Nobody is looking to this direction. But now the kind is being held. That's what Oduque is telling us today. And all of us are doing as if you didn't understand what he's saying. Let me tell you, Igbos are hated because of the enterprise. The Jews of Africa, and they know that. The Jews are hated all over the world because of the enterprise. And that happens to Igbos. We know that. So let us wake up and do something in Igbo. Our leaders help us do this. Let us give us land. Let us be able to make sure that this place is comfortable for us to do business. I'm not a cat so we can understand.
Thank you for
All
your
right.
thoughts. Keep the calls coming. 09128 945 999
All right, 08093999945. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother, and good morning, Tony on the phone. God bless you.
Good morning.
Mike Ejaya said, Abamba to Nugwe. Abueba to Nugwe, on a book with Kakelato. I will only start to blame Nigeria when all the options concerning Igbo man are being explored and also get the federal government for.
Okay.
Maka ihe a na-ekwu okwu ya kịta ya gazie onye na-achị Enugu steeti bụ onye Igbo, kọmishọnas ndị niile ha nwee bụ onye Igbo, representative ha nwee bụ onye Igbo, likewise Abia, Anambra, Enugu and Ebonyi. Afọbịa m ụbọchị ndị mmadụ tiri ọkpọ maka na asị dị ka eweta ihe a n'ala Igbo ndị ọzọ jụ. Afọbịa m ya ihe a na-eji ọkpọ na ya bụ nke abanye na-akpa nke ha. So the issue of this ihe a na-eme ndị Igbo, ihe a na-eme ndị Igbo, enwere ike project bụ na Nnamdi Kanu ha aka eme, which they fail and insecurity becomes the order of the day. Because ihe a kịta bụ ị ga-enwegodo n'ebe ịkwụ kwụsie ya ike. Ndị Igbo akwụrụ n'ala ndị Igbo kwụsie ya ike. Ọ bụrụ mmadụ mere this Anambra steeti o ji wee mee example maka machine park. Mmadụ ndị nọ n'Anambra steeti ihe maka ha si wee mee ya gazie ha chiri ya n'iwu na onye ọbụla bụ onye na-azụ machine park na-atụ aja n'obodo oyibo ama mmepe kọnten ya na-abụrụ na ọ batara na nkwụ Nnewi, ha hụduo ya fem ha draịvụ ya down. Ihe kpatara na ndị ọzọ ama mmenwu ụdị ihe dị oke ahụ maka onye ọbụla na-achụzi ka anyị jee Lagos, ka anyị jee Abuja, ka anyị jee Ebonyi, anyị jee ebe ọbụla anyị ga-eje jede visa, mana be anyị na onwe anyị ịmakakosi wee dị ndụ outside the argument of Nnamdi Kanu. Many of ndị Igbo enweghị ụlọ na be ha. It was 2013 when Nnamdi Kanu died. That is why a lot of almost wrestling up like one day now with a very hot cake. Some places no more Igbo. Some parts now even get to even
All right, Apex, your time.
To how our people there. The issue only a group we are go. I knew one you got decided that and I gave me a job. I'm in the blame on how this is. Because if I believe in how we should unite, not to come on Samu and Igbo. We're saying,
all right, your time.
Unite them and start building something. Only one I need build on our side every 90 miles. If you go there, how many women is supporting that project? Every day,
all right, Apex, we'll go on a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation.
Guy, where una dey see all this airtime, credit and data buy for this cashless weather? That's nothing now. Dem no dey call me bobo digital for nothing. When that cash dey my hand or e no dey na so I just dey buy airtime, credit and data straight from my bank account thanks to Glow e-top up.
The same Glow e-top up?
Yes now, easy top up directly from my bank account. No stress, no wahala. So you mean say person no need worry about not having cash at all. If you don't get cash, you don't get wahala.